For decades, the people of California have lived with a quiet, persistent fear. They call it the Big One, a seismic event so powerful it could rewrite the geography of the West Coast. But recently, a new and much more terrifying narrative has surfaced. A video titled "California Ready to Collapse at Any Moment" has sent shockwaves across the internet, claiming that what is happening beneath the Golden State is unlike anything in recorded history. It's a story of city-sized voids, impossible minerals, and a government cover-up. But as the line between public safety and internet sensationalism blurs, we have to ask, how much of this is grounded in reality, and how much is a sophisticated exercise in fear-mongering? Today, we are performing a forensic analysis of the California collapse theory. To understand where this story begins, we have to look at January 20th, 2026. This isn't fiction. A real seismic event did occur. A magnitude 4.9 earthquake struck near Indio, California, specifically along the Mission Creek strand of the infamous San Andreas Fault. For those living in the Coachella Valley, it was a frightening wake-up call. Windows rattled, objects tumbled from shelves, and over 50 aftershocks rippled through the region. Seismic monitors at Caltech and the USGS lit up, showing energy spikes 10 times higher than routine background noise. This was a genuine geological event. But in the world of viral media, a 4.9 magnitude quake isn't breaking news for long. To keep an audience captive, the narrative had to evolve, and that is where the transition from science to speculation begins. The theory suggests that this earthquake wasn't just a standard release of tectonic stress. Instead, it was the trigger that revealed a hidden, terrifying reality 15 miles beneath the Earth's surface. According to the claims, high-resolution seismic tomography, which acts like a CT scan for our planet, revealed something impossible. A low-velocity zone so massive it rivals the size of a major city. The video calls these cavities or voids, suggesting that where there should be solid bedrock, there is now nothing. Let's pause and look at the physics. At a depth of 24 kilometers, the Earth's crust is under staggering pressure, roughly 600 megapascals. To put that in perspective, imagine the weight of 15 miles of solid rock pressing down on every square inch. At that depth, the temperature exceeds 500 degrees Celsius. In these conditions, physics dictates that empty space cannot exist. If a void were to form, the immense weight of the crust would crush it instantly, like an aluminum can under a steamroller. While geologists do see low-velocity zones, they don't mean empty holes. Usually they indicate the presence of magma, trapped fluids, or highly fractured rock. But city-sized voids? That is where the science reaches its breaking point. The narrative then doubles down on the terror by introducing the concept of deep earth liquefaction. Most Californians know what liquefaction is. It's when sandy, water-saturated soil near the coast turns into a liquid-like soup during an earthquake, causing buildings to sink. But the theory claims this is happening 15 miles down, turning solid rock into liquid. It sounds plausible to a layperson, but to a geophysicist, it's a total misapplication of terms. Turning solid rock into liquid at those depths doesn't happen because of shaking. It happens because of melting, which would imply a massive volcanic intrusion that simply isn't there. As the story moves from the deep crust to the surface, it introduces a sense of boots-on-the-ground urgency. It describes a clandestine drilling operation at the Salton Sea, led by a mysterious Dr. Lena Torres. The story claims that on January 21st, 2026, a drill rig breached a pressurized pocket, releasing methane, hydrogen sulfide, and an unidentified compound, forcing an immediate emergency evacuation. This is a classic storytelling technique, the secret incident. While it's true that the Salton Sea is a geothermally active area where gas releases are common, said the video uses this incident to claim a physical link between the surface and those supposed underground voids. But the smoking gun of the entire theory is the mention of two specific core samples, SS51A and SS152B. The claim is that these samples contained a mineral called Wadsleyite. For a geologist, this is the ultimate red flag. Wadsleyite is a high-pressure form of olivine that is only stable in the Earth's transition zone, a region between 410 and 660 kilometers deep. Finding Wadsleyite just 1 kilometer down at the Salton Sea would be like finding a deep-sea creature from the bottom of the Mariana Trench swimming in a backyard pool. It would mean that material from the Earth's mantle had been violently thrust upward through the crust. If this were true, it wouldn't just be a YouTube video, and it would be the lead story in every scientific journal on the planet. But why haven't we heard about it on the news? The theory has an answer for that, too: the cover-up. The narrative introduces a fictional journalist who supposedly obtained encrypted emails from state officials. The message? If we release these model uncertainties, we risk public panic. Let us hold for now. This taps into a deep-seated distrust of institutions. It frames the USGS and state emergency managers not as scientists trying to understand a complex fault system, but as gatekeepers of a dark secret. The video even criticizes the Shake Alert system, claiming it failed to warn the public about a silent quake or slow slip event on January 15th. While slow slip events are real, they are movements where plates grind past each other over days without creating a sudden shock. They are notoriously difficult to detect. The video, however, frames this technical limitation as a deliberate failure or a sign that the mechanics of the fault are changing. Finally, the narrative pivots to the very real vulnerabilities of California's infrastructure. This is where the story is most effective because it uses grains of truth. It is a fact that 25 million people depend on water delivered by aqueducts that cross the San Andreas Fault multiple times. It is a fact that a major rupture would sever power lines, gas pipes, and highways, leading to economic losses between $200 and $300 billion. By ending with these legitimate documented risks, and the video retroactively lends credibility to the wild claims it made earlier. It's a guilt by association tactic. If the water lines are really at risk, then maybe the city-sized voids are real too. The video concludes with a line that sounds profound, but is actually a shield for the creator. Our greatest danger is not what is beneath our feet. It is what we choose to believe. This is a clever way of saying, I've told you a terrifying story, and now it's up to you to decide if it's true, without ever taking responsibility for the scientific inaccuracies presented. So, what is the final verdict on the California collapse? We have to separate the facts from the fiction. The fact is that California lives on a knife edge of seismic activity. The San Andreas Fault is a powerful and dangerous system that is overdue for a major rupture. The 4.9 magnitude quake in January 2026 was a reminder of that reality. However, the fiction is the idea of a catastrophic underground collapse into city-sized voids. Physics simply doesn't allow for it. The fiction is the discovery of mantle minerals in shallow drill holes. Chemistry doesn't allow for it. And the fiction is the idea of a massive coordinated cover-up of a collapsing state. The California collapse theory is a masterclass in modern misinformation. It takes the genuine anxiety of millions of people, seasons it
here,
with technical-sounding jargon like tomography slices and seismic attenuation, and serves it up as a breaking disaster. Our greatest defense against the big one isn't fear or conspiracy theories. It's preparedness and hard science. Stock up on water, secure your furniture, and download the official Shake Alert app. But when it comes to terrifying underground voids and collapsing crusts, remember to stay skeptical. The truth beneath the surface is already fascinating enough. We don't need to invent horrors to make it more compelling.